In 1990, a businessman from Miami named Vince Perry found a bootleg NES cartridge from a flea market that came with 40 illegally pirated games on it, and upon seeing his 9-year-old son play it, he got a case of $signitis. You see, NES games normally cost around $30, $50, hell, sometimes $60, and that was just for one game. But because NES games had incredibly small file sizes, it meant that you could fit a lot of games onto one singular cartridge. So the idea of getting multiple not stolen games on one cartridge, albeit for a slightly higher price point, was captivating to Vince. However, there was one problem. He knew absolutely nothing about game development. Fortunately for Vince, a friend of his named Mario Gonzalez overheard him talking about the illegal cartridge that he had given to his son, and his idea to make 52 original games to sell on one cartridge. Mario told Vince that he had some friends that were into game making as a hobby, and that he was interested in making Vince's idea a reality. However, Vince wanted proof that Mario and his friends could actually, make a game. So Mario called up his friends, and they quickly threw together a Tetris clone called Megatris on their Amiga. Vince was impressed, to say the least, so he hired Mario and his friends to start making the game, and thus, Active Enterprises was born. They were all flown out to Salt Lake City, Utah, given 1 week of training, and were then given 3 months to complete all 52 of the games. No, I did not stutter. Development was not off to a great start, as the team of 4 devs quickly ran into some problems, mainly caused by their inexperienced knowledge of programming, struggling to come up with a variety of games, and literally surviving off of coffee and donuts. All this so they could program such wonderful gems like Alfred and the Fennec, and the one game with Saddam Hussein. But despite the team's many development struggles, all 52 of the games were planned out and ready to be programmed. That was until Vince busted into the room and demanded that the team make the 52nd game in the package one of his bizarre creations. But why? Well, it's because the early 90s was when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles craze was in full effect, and many other companies copied its formula to try and make bank. And Vince very clearly also wanted a piece of that turtle-flavored pie. So he created the Cheetahmen. And Vince was so enamored by these blatant copy and paste that they not only became the main selling point of the game, but Vince had wanted to make t-shirts, a cartoon, a standalone game, and even a damn movie, possibly directed by Michael Bay. Eventually, the 3 months of dev time were over. The games were finished, distributed, and shipped without any playtesting at all. And the game retailed for $199 US, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, this game was a massive failure. And it basically killed Active Enterprises due to the game's lower than low sales. But remember what I said 72 words ago? That Vince wanted to make merchandise for the Cheetahmen? Well, outside of a comic that came with Action 52, almost all of the merchandise plans fell through, except for the idea of a standalone game. You see, after finishing Action 52, Active Enterprises began work on a sequel to Cheetahmen, known as What Did You Think It Was Gonna Be Called? Which, despite just being one game this time, was somehow even buggier than all of the games on Action 52 combined. They also started branching out by getting the help of Farsight Studios to make a Genesis version of Action 52, and announcing the Action Game Master at CES 1994. However, very quickly after they announced this at CES, the failure of Action 52 had caught up to them, and Active Enterprises died before Cheetahmen II and the Action Game Master could release. I am 4 for 2 now. And the prototype carts for Cheetahmen II were left in a Florida warehouse to slowly rot away. Tile. 2 years later, in 1996, people discovered over 1,500 Cheetahmen II cartridges in the warehouse, and then they proceeded to sell all of them on the secondary market for a huge chunk of change. And now, this thing was the holy grail of NES game collections, blatant bugs aside. But even still, the game, and to a lesser extent Action 52, would pretty much be forgotten about until the 2000s, where people started to discover just how buggy and broken Action 52 and Cheetahmen 2 really were, and that number of people would grow exponentially higher with the release of the Angry Video Game Nerds videos on the two games, with the Action 52 video being the 5th most popular video on the Cinemassacre YouTube channel as a whole. In fact, these videos did so well that it got someone named Greg Pavick, who was apparently involved with the original distribution of Action 52, to grab the rights to Active Enterprises and the Cheetahmen, and not only release a never-before-seen prototype of the original Cheetahmen called Cheetahmen the Creation, but give Cheetahmen 2 a new life, by getting people who shat on the games to shill for them. No!